Okay, good morning, and we are live. Thank you very much for coming along today. This is the Relevate community. The live stream is called The Business Octopus. I'm Avon from Relevate, and I'm a CRM and marketing automation consultant. And today I'm going to be talking about how we built a community. We've tried several thousand, or maybe not several thousand, but we've tried several products over several years. And it's been a really long journey to get it right. And we've spent countless hours. We've had, I guess, a core group of people who are sort of, you could almost call them like our customer community, or people that we know very well, that we have a good trusted relationship with, that hung around us. And yeah, we kind of dragged them through all the way through like 7 different platforms, like 6 or 7 different platforms. And at the end, we found the magic formula. We found the right thing. And over that time, I guess you potentially could have burned some relationships, per se, in the sense that the types of people that are being dragged through all of this, they might get tired of it. But it's been really good to have a core group of people who were willing to be, I guess, the guinea pig experimentee for us building an online community. That what we wanted to do was really build an education kind of side to our business, in the sense that everybody needs technical skills, and digital skills are really quite complex, and there's tens of thousands of products on the market, and it's really hard to get just the right thing to be able to run your business. So in the mistakes that we've made, in the products that we've reviewed, in the attempts we've made to make a community, we've learned a hell of a lot. And over the time that we've been building communities, we've figured out exactly what doesn't work. And in finding out what doesn't work, of course, we've gotten more clarity on what does work. So today, I'm going to show you all of the communities that we've tried and failed with over the last, I guess, 5 years. And I'll tell you why. Now, you'll look at it and go, oh, well, that's perfectly good, or that's perfectly fine. There's lots of people there. You should continue on with that, or that looks like it worked. But there's a difference between working and really working. So yes, people can kind of put their name to something and then never come back to it. They'll maybe put their name down to join a club or a community, and then you'll never see them ever again. They'll never engage with it ever again. And that was a real problem. So what I'm going to show you now is, in just a second, I'll go through a screen share demo, and I'll show you each of the platforms and what kind of worked, what didn't. You'll have to join me here and extrapolate, and I'll explain. But if you've got any questions along the way, don't forget that you can jump into the comments and mention the thing that you would like to discuss next. So if you've got any questions about the communities that we've gone through, anything more specific that you want answered, either in this video or an upcoming video. And don't forget that we do these live streams every week now. So I'm going to be setting a regular cadence. We'll be doing it every Friday morning at 8:30. I've got, actually next week, it's at 8:15. And we will be covering how to become a cloud software consultant. So basically what we do is we implement software for people. And sometimes if you want to get into that industry, it's actually really hard and really confusing, because there's so many options, but then you don't know where to start. So that video will be next Friday, on the 23rd at 8:15 a.m. All right, so let's get into it. So coming back on topic now for the communities that we have tried and failed. So I'm going to share screen now. Okay, so this one is our Facebook group. So this is for Relevate Consulting, and we've got, as you can see, there's a small amount of followers. I mean, most of what we do is on LinkedIn rather than being on Facebook or any of that sort of stuff, because we're a B2B type of business. So most of our clients hang out on LinkedIn, and then they consume content on things like YouTube, which ideally, if you're watching this anywhere, go to YouTube, give us a like and a subscribe, and we'll have more updates, tips, tricks, how-to guides, etc. And of course, at the end of this, I'm going to show you the community that did work, and that's our online community. That's the Relevate community. So if I just quickly come over here, and we can pop that up. That's the link to get to how to join our online community. Now, in there's heaps of tips, tricks, videos, guides. There's heaps of other partners and professionals that can help you to find answers to problems, etc. We'll put the link in the show notes, as well as some affiliate links along the way. Okay, so first up, Facebook. Now, if let's see which way I'm pointing. So if we're having a look at the Facebook community, I don't know if I can't point there, but I'll do it with my mouse. In the top right of the image, you can see just here, there's a little notifications bell. Facebook is a very, very, very distracting place. It will take hours of your time if you let it. And sometimes people get in there, it's like the fridge in your kitchen, right? So you forget what you're doing and you always end up in the fridge. So when you come onto Facebook, it's exactly the same. You forget what you're doing and you end up on whatever feed there is that you're interested in. So the notifications, there's been 8 notifications since I logged on 30 minutes ago to set this page up. So in that time, I've got 8 new distractions that are taking me away from the thing that I actually want to go and do. The other thing too is, how do I know that the community exists? Where do I find it? I'm in as a user, as the corporate user, and it's not really straightforward and easy as to where we're going to go to get to this community. So the average person, yes, there's some of the live streams, and quite possibly this one is being streamed into that one right now. So if we're looking through the content, it's actually, there's some past live streams in there, but it's actually a little bit hard to find where the community is. But if you happen to search it, the Relevate community group, here it is here. And this is my point before, like we can see here, there's 73 members or whatever, but it's just not really that kind of easy to find kind of thing. And then once you are a member, you virtually never see it again. You don't know that it exists. You don't know where you're looking to find these things. So it makes it really hard to get that engagement. And the other thing too is paralysis of choice. There's probably about 50 other, or 50,000 or 50 million even other groups that someone could join. So the thing that makes that a fail is the distractions. And yeah, it's private group, but then in amongst that is those 8 notifications could be a very important group thing, or a very important thing that I want to get across. And so that causes a failing point. So once someone is going to join, and then they're never going to come back. Or if they do, it's going to be extremely long time between drinks. Or that message that you really want them to know about is going to take another 3 weeks for them to actually get around to maybe reading, if at all. All right. So yes, there's 73 members, but I don't really count them as successfully or committed members, people who are reading, acknowledging. And then the other one is like that feedback, the data, the analytics of who's doing what. And the other thing too is, last time I set this up, all the buttons were in a different spot. And so they've done a Facebook UI overhaul, and now I can't find the button to go back to where I was that last time I did that thing. And that changes constantly. So it makes it really, really hard. All right. The next one I want to go through is the LinkedIn groups. So LinkedIn is a place where most of our audience is. So yes, I've got a LinkedIn profile. Here's some of the posts that are on my feed. Some people I'm connected to. There's some messaging. There's some notifications. Awesome. Now, tell me where the group is. If you can, in the comments, I'd be really appreciative, because I cannot find it easily. And I doubt any other user can. I know groups exist, and I have gone and tried my hardest to go and find where to get these groups, or where to access these groups. So if I scroll down here, I'm on my own profile. You can see these groups here, but then it's the same problem as Facebook. I've got heaps of groups in here that I've joined and never gone back to. So I've spent a whole bunch of time building, a couple of my own groups, including the consulting forum. And then I had a few people join. This one's got 2 members. Then I tried the Martech community, and that one's got 5 members. But again, like, it's been really hard to get anyone to adopt it. And then I know that I don't go and actively engage with groups inside of LinkedIn at all. So it makes it really, really difficult to try and find where to go. All right, this next one, a little bit left of field, and I've got to bring in a incognito window to do it, just because I'm logged in on the back end. Now, we do actively use this. This is actually Zoho Desk, and yes, a link is going to be in the comments for Zoho One, but Zoho Desk is the support desk system of the knowledge of Zoho. So basically, there's a couple of elements that we wanted to bring together as part of a community. That was a place to share information, so things like knowledge articles, courses, that sort of stuff. Somewhere where we can chat and communicate, because every discussion that we have, every time someone comes backwards and forwards and talks about, how do I do this? How do I do that? What's your recommended solution for this? That discussion, that backwards and forwards, what exactly are you trying to do? If in this circumstance it would be this answer, in that circumstance it would be that answer, and here's why. And that discussion is very useful, because somebody else coming along can see, particularly if it's a gray area, if it's a very black and white answer, we can go this, click 1, 2, and 3 and job done. But often in the case of like software consulting, we're dealing in a lot of gray area, in the sense that, we need to think really deeply about the business case scenario and understand, the problem. And sometimes there's more than one answer, but one answer is better than the other for a number of reasons. And in order to have that discussion all in that one place, that really helps to see that, all right, there's these 5 answers. Why did you go with that one and not with those other 4? That's where the community is really, really valuable. So in here, we've got the ability, how do I, and then it'll come up with a whole bunch of articles, knowledge articles, and things like that. So this is more knowledge article first. Then on the community side, there is actually forums and people discussing, the questions, the problems, the issues, etc. And then you can relate it back to articles. You could do like feature voting. You can provide resources. You could do all sorts of stuff. And it can be quite good. If I click into the community here, you can also search the community. And then there's different community types. So question, idea, problem, things that are not yet answered. And then people can vote on it. And then when people discuss, so what's the best tool for editing video, you got a little text box. You can share it on socials. You can see related articles and posts. It can be quite good. The concept is great. The problem is that unless you know that community tab is where you have to go, or that tab is where you have to go, you're really only going to see the knowledge base by default. And this is very much a knowledge base support desk system. It's not designed to be a community, but some of the features are excellent in that someone asks a question, it raises a ticket. So that gives me the understanding that I have a checklist to work through, which is any kind of like comment or response, so that we can either categorize it better, we can respond, or we can link off to an article or something that's already been created, and it creates that deeper value. The problem was adoption. Okay, so that was the Zoho community. And again, I don't mind it. It had some excellent points. And then, you can keep the cost down. There's some ways to get around how you do that using user groups or customer user groups. The next one I was looking at building was Salesforce, and we did have this up and running. And so this is the editor view, and there's lots of little bits and pieces. You can edit lots of things on the page. But again, that's a blessing and a curse in that you've got a lot of enterprise level control, but then the licensing gets really expensive. You can move things around, but then there's like extra code blocks and things that you have to do, and then there's more security measures than your average sort of thing, which is good. But again, it just got so complex on the back end, particularly when dealing with permission sets and who can see what and when and how. And then anytime you want to make a change, it's probably like an 8-hour, 3-day activity because it's just so complex. So if I preview the site, we can see again, you've got that search bar, how do I, and then it's going to pre-populate. Now, these are articles, and you can change the settings for this. One's good in that it uses fuzzy logic, so you don't have to spell it correctly, but it will also recommend articles and community posts. But again, there's infinite amount of complexity in the back end as to how it filters through that. So it's not for the every person. So I've created these little tabs, and I could put images in there. You've got, the contact support if you wanted to escalate. There's an issue, a problem, an idea, but otherwise you've got that community. So we've got topics, and then we can go to marketing, and these are the discussions. So why is CRM important for organizations? And we can see here there's a post and there's a response. You can mention various users. You can then delete, flag, upvote, downvote. I think the feature voting kind of thing, or the post voting, was an excellent part for our community, in that if one particular answer was better than somebody else's for any reason, that we could vote on that particular or upvote that comment. So that's what I was talking about with that gray area, is when someone has an issue with something, but there's 3, 4, 5 possible answers, that maybe one answer is better than another, because there might be some that are workarounds, one that's more official, or maybe one workaround works better than the other workarounds that have been suggested. And that could be a number of reasons, based on the context of the question, or it could be based on the way that the way that solution impacts the business. Maybe one is more secure than the other, or maybe one generates more revenue than the other. So that could be a very useful feature. And then you've got the ability to share it. So I think in terms of building a community, it depends on the type of community. If you want to create a closed one, you need to be able to lock down that security permission. If you want to create an open one, then you need to be able to share it on socials. It needs to be SEO searchable. And that's what we wanted to do. We wanted to create something that was going to create content that we didn't always have to spend hours and hours doing. So what you've got is a concept called UGC, user generated content, or I like to call it OPE, other people's effort. So, all right. So the next one that we tried, and the hits just keep coming, and there's a few more yet to come. So stay with me here. So in this, we've got, this is actually a Learn-web site based on a plugin called BuddyBoss. There's also it's a WooCommerce framework, CMS, and so LearnDash is holding the course materials, and then you've got BuddyBoss, which is holding this social feeds thing, which I'm about to show you. So if I got a news feed, we can see that there is a whole bunch of, a lot of this is very custom. So we've got community updates, and one, you can see the time it takes for it to load. You can see we've got these other groups inside of the main sort of area. There's sharing out to socials. If we go over to, let's click on MarTech Community, see some of these other ones. So we've got this framework here. We can see a feed, we can see the groups, and there's probably an update. And again, updates, right? So the moment you go custom, the moment you go WordPress, you're going to need to maintain the thing, and you're going to have to deal with plugins. You're going to have to deal with, again, permission sets, securities, who can see what, when people are logged in, not logged in. And one of the main problems with WordPress is that it just does not send emails, because everybody during COVID was using WordPress emails to spam, or WordPress instances to spam thousands of millions of inboxes and send tons of emails. So, the feed here is probably not working. Photos, any kind of like data storage in the back end. And to be fair, this has been dormant for, a year or so. So we can see active a year ago. So that last year was when I last accessed this. And so nothing really here is working. But even if it was not going to be that impressive. If I go to courses, and we do still have these courses. I use a different platform now, but we've got these online courses you can do. But the thing that I think this one is missing is that knowledge-based component. So we did try to build this, which is another application called Q&A, so DWQA. So again, it's not working. But if you log in, I think it does actually function. But you've got that question and answer thing, kind of like what you had here in the Salesforce, where you can upvote, downvote. But getting all those parts connected and working is a nightmare. And then you add another feature or you add another plugin, and then it breaks somewhere else. So unless you know the right magical mix of plugins, this is really not user-friendly, and it requires a lot of maintenance. The other thing, or two things I think make a community really, really powerful, and that is, one, it's really easy to join and to access. And then the next thing is it's really, really easy to get emails from the system and no distractions. So if you're on the platform and it's just you, there's no other groups that people can join. There's no noise around the platform. There's just a clear focus on you and who you are and what you can do, what you can bring. Then that is really, really powerful. And the emailing is essential in the sense that a summary email once a week is enough to show activity. They're not gonna get pinged every time someone comments. They're not gonna get all this noise in their inbox that are just gonna, frustrate them and then make them leave. But having that regular contact reminds them that there's something going on here. Finally, the moment you've been waiting for. This is our community now. We have 95 members, and I know that in the last 30 days, at least 50% of them were active. So this community has had more interaction, like tenfold over and above the next best group that I've had and in the past at all ever. So not only do we have people who are joining the group, we have people who are commenting on a regular basis, raising new posts, new ideas, new content that I haven't had to come up with, which helps me then come up with ideas for things like live streams like this, or for email newsletter posts out to people that aren't members, or perhaps social media posts, which then become videos on like TikTok or anything like that. YouTube is where we're trying to grow most. Once again, if you're watching this and you're finding this valuable, please jump on over to YouTube, give us a like, a subscribe, watch a couple of the videos there. There is also a couple of other community platform reviews, one on a platform called Heartbeat, and then another one I did another more in-depth video on this particular platform, and I plan to do some more. In any case, the getting people to join has been really easy. And then once they do join, they really get it. The messaging is great. And I've even got members saying, how do we help you grow this? Because this is really valuable. And that is amazing. That is where we want to get to, where it becomes a snowball effect, where one thing leads to another, which leads to another, and then the members grow themselves. The community has its own living and breathing heartbeat. It has its own consciousness even. All right, so having a look at the community here, on the left, we can see we've got all these little spaces, and a lot of this is sort of driven by me, but also sort of driven by the community members themselves. They go, I want to see this, or I want to see that. And I think that's really, really important, is that you need to be asking the audience, what content, what keeps them up at night? What content do they need to be able to answer questions, that burning questions that they have? So anytime someone asks a question, that's an opportunity for me to create content that helps answer them and the other 100 members, 200, 500,000, however many you end up with you in your community. And every time a question is answered, it becomes searchable. You've got this big search bar at the top. And I think that is probably one of the single most important factors of a community, is that now it becomes sort of like a 24/7, 365 resource for everybody who's in there. That and it could be on whatever niche that you run. So for me, it's CRM and marketing automation, or helping you choose the right software in business. But for others, it might be growing plants in the garden, or it might be how to surf, or how to do some other activity, how to lose weight, any of those sorts of things. But community really connects people and helps to bring the content to life. And I think about content in here. You can see I've got a YouTube video that kind of walks people through, where to go, what to do. You really need to encourage people to take action really early on. So make it easy for them to find, like the say hello chat. So as soon as someone joins, we ask them to introduce themselves in the say hello chat. And then ideally, if they can create a little intro video, then we can add that to a YouTube playlist, so that as soon as someone joins, they can then go through the playlist, see the other members that are in the group, get to know them through more than just text. So we kind of build a deeper relationship. Everyone can message each other in a direct message. Everyone can have a little chat. They don't have to go and do everything via forum that's public. We've got settings in here which allow certain groups access based on who you are or where you come from. So as you can see here, we've got also tagging. There's one other community that I didn't show you that I did try, and that was Discord. And I've also got Slack up here somewhere. So I did try those. So let me just come back to this screen here, and I'll cue that one up. So I did say that I tried a lot, but I never really got the adoption. So Discord, let's see if we can get that one up. Discord. So Slack and Discord are almost identical in that they're very similar shape. They're very similar structure. They both use lots of hashtags. They both use lots of, pieces, like similar concept, structured layout with embedding and tagging. So you can see here, I ended up getting probably about 6 or 7 members. Yeah, 6 members in here. It wasn't that great. And the other thing is, if you click off to the side, you can add multi-workspace. So you'd probably end up with about 10 or 20 or 30 different connections or different groups that you're a part of. And then it's just noise. It's just buzzes in your pocket all the time. You want to tread that fine line of it not being, one, getting enough attention so that people keep coming back to it, but not that it's so annoying that you can't, that you want to break away from it and just leave. Discord was the same. For us, our audience is a little bit more centered around. So this is one of our communities, this one here. I think I ended up with 32 members, but people, again, would come in, have a look, and then never come back. It's dark theme. Not everybody likes dark theme. Older generations don't necessarily gel well with everything is link based, or there's some like at mention, or everyone's got some people want to see more of a profile. This is very, very coder, very gamer, very basic. And then there's all these like badges and add-ons and shiny things. But then you can see all these other groups. You've got a whole marketplace, which makes you discoverable, but also makes people distracted from who you are. So I guess you're all waiting to find out what we chose. And if you know what it looks like, you already know what it is. So this one that was successful, it's called Circle. And again, the link is going to be in the chat. So, or not in the chat, sorry, in the description after this video has finished publishing. I'll put it into the YouTube description predominantly, and then I'll go back retrospectively onto the other channels that this is streaming to. So the community is built on a platform called Circle. you do get a mobile app. You do get the ability to customize some of the theme. You can have affiliate programs. You can charge for different membership areas. Now, we provide detailed tech support. So that's one of the things that makes it worthwhile to pay for one of ours, because it's probably a lot cheaper than if you would go and pay a consultant directly, or if you were to be part of some other groups that that charge a lot more, or even Zoho Direct. Like you can see, we've got a Zoho area. We are a Zoho partner. We do a lot of work there, and to get partner support at Zoho is actually more than twice the cost of what our community is. There is free areas. You do get free trials. We do networking events. It's more than just, whatever that software is. I mean, we'll cover anything, because, if we want to train someone on how software works, yeah, we've got things that we use regularly that we know works, but you're kind of where you're at. You've got what you've got, and you need to build it as part of an ecosystem. No one application does it all, even though there's plenty that say that they do. So you might have think, if you've seen Circle or you've evaluated it before, you might go, oh, what about School, or what about Mighty Networks? So let's have a look. So Mighty Networks is almost identical. It's very, very similar. But in every bit of research that we did, we found that you can customize a lot in here, and you kind of get almost exactly the same features. But the problem was adoption. Is that there's probably a few extra features in here which make it just that over the line of complexity, which now causes a lack of people actually using the system. And I kind of, when I first evaluated Mighty Networks, it really seemed like a small business coach community, whereas Circle seemed more like a corporate add-on to try and build customer communities and more of a business-like experience. And that's what we wanted. Then the other one is School. And if anyone watches Alex Hormozi or Sam Ovens, so yeah, you've got some big heavyweights that have a lot of YouTuber audience. They've got a lot of social media followings. And that's what makes this popular. And probably that's where it stops. You pay for a community, you get a community, but you don't get all the channels and bits and pieces. The other thing is when you log in, there's all these other distractions, kind of like before, where you don't want to be distracted by what other groups could you join, who's the competitors. As soon as someone searches for a particular type of topic, maybe digital transformation, they might get, expert coach, digital growth, AI powered something. They might be offered up, 50 alternatives when I'm trying to sell them my community, or I'm trying to promote how I'm different. But now I'm in a mix of everybody else, and I'm now watered down. And the other thing is cost. So they've got a single price, and you get a single set of features. Whereas other times you might be able to start a bit smaller, and as you upgrade, you get more and more features. And at the end of the day, we wanted to provide information, community, course materials, and have a place where all of that can be shared very effectively. And I think that we found our sweet spot in Circle. All right, so that is it. We have gone on a very long journey here today. We've gone through a heap of platforms, and I appreciate you coming along and watching the live stream, or if you're watching this in the recording. Hopefully you've gotten some value. Again, please do like, subscribe, leave a comment, let us know, give us some feedback so that we know if we're on point, off point, we need to change something, or if you wanted us to discuss another topic or do a deeper dive in a particular thing. So we're doing these live streams every Friday. Next week, we're going to be talking about how to become a cloud consultant if you've never done it before, or even if you're a junior and you are looking to get to that point. Then that is something that we would absolutely love for you to come along and watch it live. Then you get to ask in the comments, and then we can answer your questions directly. These sessions are going to be every Friday. And this has been the Business Octopus. Once again, you can join the Relevant community, find out more about these questions, and even ask and comment and get answers to your questions. Meet the community, get to know people, join the networking. We do live member-only Q&A Zooms where we do like a knowledge transfer session. And also we have heaps of, content and extra get to know you sessions. One of the big things we're huge on is community, and is building networks, is introducing people to each other, with identifying key opportunities and really just being very targeted in the relationships that we build. So if that sounds good to you, come along, join us. We'd love to have you. Otherwise, thank you so much for watching. You take care, and we'll catch you next time.